Hi again, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who reached out after my last video. It was very much appreciated. If you know me, you know that I love quotes. And one of my favorite quotes is, "A man never knows the extent of his courage until his back is against the wall." And I would amend that by saying he also never knows how many friends he has. And I really appreciate everything that everybody said and did. I apologize if I worried anyone. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to be okay. My doctors finally figured out what was wrong. I went through a tough couple of years, but they finally figured it out. So I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version. When I was going through the worst of this, I was having trouble getting out of bed. I was having trouble walking. My body felt like I was hooked up to a car battery most days. The headaches were intensifying and just getting worse and worse. It was just an awful time in my life. The only time I wasn't in pain was when I was asleep. I lost 40 pounds and I thought I either had cancer or some kind of a degenerative neurological condition. So I couldn't get in to see a neurologist, and I finally ended up talking to an online doctor. And after going through all my symptoms, he finally said he thought that I either had MS or ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And that's when I got really scared. I have a condition called stenosis. And all stenosis is when your spinal column narrows and it compromises your spinal cord. It pinches down on it, and it also affects the nerves that emanate from the spinal cord. In severe cases like mine, the only way to correct it, or to try to correct it, is through surgery. So I had a neurosurgeon perform a procedure on December 29th of 2022. And it was called an ACDF, which stands for Anterior Cervical Discectomy and Fusion. And what they did was perform a double fusion on the vertebra in my cervical spine, numbers 4, 5, and 6. They put a bracket in there, which you'll be able to see in this frame. And that bracket is attached by 4 screws to the vertebra in your cervical spine. And what it does is it puts a space in there. And in that space, they take cadaver bone and they put it in between to keep the space of your vertebra and also to keep it from pinching on your spinal cord. And so I had this procedure on December 29th, and this picture is from a couple weeks later after my procedure. The bone from the cadaver is supposed to fuse to your vertebrae, and then that way you're supposed to keep that space open. Well, the only problem with me was that my symptoms weren't getting any better. I went back 3 months after my procedure, and I was still having all kinds of pain, terrible headaches, weakness in my legs, numbness in my arms, my hands, just tingling all over the place. I just didn't think I was going to get any better. Finally, I made an appointment with another neurologist up in Orland Park. She works for Northwestern Medical. They do a fantastic job. And she looked at my history, listened to all my symptoms, everything that was going on, looked at the pictures of my procedure, my ACDF, and she came to the conclusion that, first of all, what you have is what you have. There's not much more that you can do to correct it. So either your nervous system is going to get better on its own, or you're just going to be like this for the rest of your life. In the meantime, she prescribed a drug called nortriptyline, which is a pain medication. I don't normally believe in those, but she said this might really help me with my problem. And after 2 weeks of taking nortriptyline, I had my life back. I was able to lift weights heavy. I was able to do cardio. And it seemed like the more that I worked out, the better I felt. So I just kept getting after it. I kept getting stronger. I started gaining some of the weight back, and it's just completely changed my life. I understand now that life's too short to wait around for the other shoe to drop. And I told myself if I ever got through this thing, I was just going to have fun. To me, the best way to do that is to reconnect with my people. I miss teaching, I miss my students, I miss my friends. So I'm going to start a YouTube channel called Old Guy Ethos. Stay tuned. I don't know where this is headed, but it's going to be a wild ride. Take care. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.